Alright guys, these are my predictions for the 2018 NFL schedule. Alright, let's see. Baltimore and Buffalo, no explanation there. I got Buffalo winning that, and I got Baltimore winning. I think the Steelers will beat the Browns. Cincinnati will beat the Colts. I think the Titans will beat the Dolphins, and New England will beat the Texans. Even though, yes, Watson, Watt, and Merciless are all coming back, I still think it's going to be tough for Houston to get a win. And I think the Chiefs will beat the Chargers. Jacksonville and the Giants. Giants, I don't trust their O-line. I'm going to go with Jacksonville. Denver and Seattle. I still think Seattle's going to win the division because Denver has a bad quarterback. And I don't trust their quarterback against a team like Seattle, which I think their defense is better. I think Detroit will win that. And I got the Rams beating Oakland. Next up, that's no contest. I got the Eagles winning. I got Minnesota beating the Niners. I got New Orleans. I got the Saints beating the Bucks. I got Washington beating Arizona. I got Carolina beating Dallas. And Packers and Bears. I'm gonna go with Packers on this one. Next week. I think Baltimore will beat the Bengals. I got Buffalo beating the Chargers. I think the Dolphins will beat the Jets. I think the Steelers will beat the Chiefs because the Steelers own the Chiefs. Plus it's at Pittsburgh too. I think Houston's going to beat Tennessee on that one. And I got Denver beating Oakland. I think the Patriots will beat the Jags. The Saints in a blowout, no contest there. And I think Indy's going to beat Washington. I think Atlanta's going to beat Carolina. I think Green Bay's going to beat Minnesota. I got Philly beating Tampa. I got the Rams beating the Cardinals. I got Detroit beating the Niners, and the Niners have no defense. I got the Cowboys beating the Giants, and I got the Seahawks beating the Bears. Yeah, game is going on right now, game 2. I got the Jets beating the Browns. I got Denver beating Baltimore. I got Tennessee beating Jacksonville. I think Oakland will beat Miami. I think Carolina will beat Cincy. I think the Texans will beat the Giants. I think the Chiefs will beat the 49ers. I think the Vikings will beat the Buffalo Bills. I think the Eagles will definitely beat the Colts. The Rams will beat the Chargers. The Patriots will beat the Lions. I think the Steelers will beat the Bucks. I think the Falcons will beat the Saints. I think the Packers will beat the Redskins. I think Arizona will beat Chicago. And I think the Seahawks will beat the Cowboys. Why? Because the Cowboys, and it's at Seattle. I still think they're going to be good in Seattle. Can you not miss wide open nets, please? That's pretty obvious. Houston's going to win. I think Jacksonville will beat the Jets. New England will beat Miami. I think Oakland will beat Cleveland. I got the Steelers beating the Ravens. I think Denver, the Chiefs. I'm going to go with Denver on that one. Then I think Atlanta will beat Cincinnati. I think the Packers will beat the Bills. Philadelphia will beat Tennessee. I got the Chargers beating the Niners. I think the Vikings will beat the Rams. I think Tampa will beat the Bears. I think Detroit will beat Dallas. I think Seattle will beat Arizona. And I think the Giants will beat the New York. I think the Saints will win that game, I'm going to be honest with you. Week 5, I think the Patriots will obviously beat the Colts. I think Buffalo will beat the Titans. I think Miami will beat Cincinnati. I think Baltimore will beat Cleveland. I think Kansas City will beat Jacksonville. I think Denver's going to beat the Jets. I think the Raiders will beat the Chargers. The Steelers will beat the Falcons. And I think the Texans will win that game. Panthers came off a bye. I'm going to go of the Panthers. I think they will win that. I think Green Bay will beat Detroit. I think the Eagles will beat the Vikings. I got the 49ers beating the Cardinals. I got the Seahawks beating the LA Rams because it's in Seattle, and I got the Saints winning that game. Now I think Pittsburgh will beat Cincinnati. They own the Bengals. I got the Chargers beating the Browns. I got the Texans beating the Bills. Just because I think this Texans team is going to be much better. I think the Jets will beat the Colts. That's very obvious. I think the Colts will get much worse. I think the Titans will beat the Ravens. I think the Patriots will beat the Chiefs. I think the Dolphins will beat the Bears. I think the Raiders will beat the Seahawks in Mexico. I think the Rams will beat the Broncos. Aqib Talib's going to be going against his old team. I think Jacksonville is going to beat Dallas. I think Philly's going to beat the Giants. I think Tampa will bounce back and beat Atlanta. Tampa, for me, is going to be much better this year. I think Minnesota will beat Arizona. I think Carolina's going to beat Washington. And Green Bay will beat San Francisco. We go into our bye week. Bye weeks. Packers, Raiders, Seahawks, Steelers. Okay. I think the Chargers will beat the Titans. I think Indy will beat Buffalo. I think Houston will beat... I think the Texans will win. I think the Chiefs will beat the Bengals. The Bengals don't have an O-line. I think Denver will beat Arizona. Baltimore. I kind of like the Saints in that matchup. I'm giving that to New England. That's very obvious. Detroit, I think, will beat Miami. I got Minnesota beating the Jets. The Jets don't have a good O-line. And I think Tampa Bay will beat the Browns. Eagles will beat the Panthers, of course. The Eagles are too good right now. The Eagles are too good. I think the Redskins will... I think the Cowboys will beat the Redskins. I think the 49ers will beat the Rams. And I think... Oh, New York. I think New York's going to be much better, so I'm going to give this to the Giants on this one. I got the Texans winning that game. Aim over the Dolphins. I think Kansas City will beat Denver. I think the Steelers will beat the Browns. I think the Raiders will beat the Colts. New England will beat Buffalo. I think the Eagles will beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Panthers will beat the Ravens. I think the Jets will beat the Bears. I'm being completely unbiased. I think Tampa will beat Cincinnati. Cincinnati, I think, has a bad offensive line. I think Seattle will beat Detroit. Coming off a bye week. I think the New York Giants will beat the Washington Redskins. I think Arizona will beat San Francisco with Josh Rosen as a quarterback. And I think my Packers are going to lose to the Rams. Aqib Talib. That good defense. And I think the Saints will beat the Vikings. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Drew Brees. And I think the Ravens will beat the Steelers. I favor Kansas City in the matchup against Cleveland. The Jets will beat the Dolphins. Denver will beat... I think Houston will beat Denver. I think the Raiders will beat the 49ers. I think Buffalo will beat Chicago. I think the Chargers will beat the Seahawks. I gotta give this one to the Patriots. I can't bet against Tom Brady, especially at home. I'm giving this one to the Tennessee Titans on this one. I think the Panthers will beat the Bucks. The Vikings beating the Lions. I think the Falcons will beat the Redskins. And I think the Rams will beat the... And I think the Rams will beat the Saints. Now, I got Jacksonville beating the Colts. I got Buffalo beating the Jets. I got New England beating Tennessee. I think the Raiders will win. I got the Steelers beating the Panthers. I got the Saints beating the Bengals. I got the Falcons beating the Browns. I got the Packers beating the Dolphins. I got the Chiefs beating the Cardinals. I got Chicago. Actually, got Detroit beating Chicago. I think Tampa will beat Washington. Washington, I think, is going to take a downfall this year. The Rams, I think, will beat the Seahawks. The Rams will to in the first, but I don't think it will happen. The Eagles will beat the Cowboys. That's very obvious. I'm going to go with the New York Giants on this one. Okay, I'm going to go with the Ravens beating Cincinnati. I think Tennessee will beat the Colts for sure. That's very obvious. Colts, I think, are going to be worse. I think Denver will beat the Chargers. I think the Steelers will beat the Jaguars. Tampa's on the power play. Let's go. I got the Texans winning. I think Arizona. I think Oakland. I think the Raiders will beat the Cardinals. And I got the Rams beating the Chiefs. This will be another loss, I think. I think the Seahawks will come in, and I think they'll beat us. I think the Falcons will beat the Cowboys. I think the Bears will beat the Vikings. Actually, no, I think the Vikings will beat the Bears. I think the Panthers will beat the Lions. I think the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think the... Wait, I'm going to favor the New York Giants on this one. And I think the Saints will beat the Eagles. Yeah, I gotta go with Minnesota on that one. Even though I hate it, we're gonna go Baltimore, Buffalo. Actually, I'd go Jacksonville on that one. Cincinnati on that one. Indianapolis beating the Dolphins. New England beating the Jets. I think the Steelers will beat Denver. I think the Texans will beat the Titans. I think the Cardinals will beat the Chargers. I think Detroit will beat the Bears. I think the Redskins will upset the Cowboys, and I think the Saints will win that game. I got the Panthers winning that game. I think the Eagles will beat the Giants, and the Bucks will beat the 49ers. I think we'll beat Arizona. I got Minnesota. I think Atlanta will beat Baltimore. I got the Bengals beating the Broncos. I think the Texans will win. I got Jacksonville beating the Colts. I got Buffalo beating the Dolphins. I think the Steelers will beat the Chargers. I think the Chiefs. Let's go! Yanni Gord! Toss that on the board! I think Oakland will beat Kansas. I think the Raiders will win. I think the Titans will beat the Jets. I think the Saints will beat the Cowboys. I think Detroit will beat the Rams. I think the Giants will beat the Bears. I think Tampa will beat Carolina. I think Seattle will beat San Francisco. I think the Eagles will win. I think Tennessee will beat Jacksonville. I think Buffalo will beat the Jets. I think Houston will beat Indianapolis. Houston's going to be better this year. I'm telling you guys. Who do I have the Texans losing to? I think they lose to the Eagles for sure. Yeah, I think the Texans will be 13-3. I think the Chiefs will beat the Ravens. The Patriots will beat the Dolphins. I think the Chargers will win. The Raiders, I think, will win. I think the Panthers will beat the Browns. I think Denver will beat the Niners. I think the Rams will beat the Bears. The Packers beating the Falcons. Tampa beating the Saints. It's in Tampa. I can't see the Saints winning in Tampa. I think the Redskins will beat the Giants. Actually, I think the Giants will beat the Redskins. I think the Lions will beat the Cardinals. I think the Eagles will obviously beat the Cowboys. And the Seahawks beating the Vikings. Now, I'm going to go with the Rams and the Packers on those ones. I think the Seahawks will beat the 49ers. I think Chiefs will beat the Chargers. I think Baltimore will beat Tampa. I think Denver will beat Cleveland. I think the Raiders will beat the Bengals. I got the Steelers. I got the Patriots beating the Steelers. I got freaking Oakland. I got Detroit beating Buffalo. I got the Cowboys beating the Colts. Actually,
average lasagna, not in this house, because that's no average family. That's your family, which is why you didn't grab just any cheese. You picked up Kraft mozzarella with a touch of Philadelphia for lasagna. Yeah.
I think the Cowboys. Yeah. I think Jacksonville will beat Washington. Actually, I think Washington will beat Jacksonville. I'm going to be honest with you. I think the Vikings will beat the Dolphins. I think the Giants will win against the Titans. I think the Falcons will beat, not the tie, I think the Falcons will beat the Cardinals. And I think the Panthers will beat the Saints. Then next up, I got the Carolina Panthers beating the Atlanta Falcons. I think the Colts will beat the Giants, I'm going to be honest with you. I think we'll beat the Jets. I think the Titans will win. I think the Saints will win. I think the Seahawks will win. I think the Chiefs will win that game. We're gonna go. I think the Cardinals will beat the Rams. I think the Vikings will win. I think the Dolphins will win against Jacksonville. Actually, I think Jacksonville will beat the Dolphins. I think Cincinnati will beat Cleveland. I think New England will beat Buffalo. I think Oakland. I think the Raiders will beat the Broncos. And I think the 49ers will beat the Bears. I think we'll win that 12-4. I think the Vikings will win the clinch a playoff spot. This is going to be a game for, I think, who wins the NFC South. I think the Saints will win the NFC South. I think Tampa will beat Atlanta. I think the Eagles will win. And I got the